We're at Bama Bass on his 5-acre custom bass pond.
And we're building him an Aquascape recreation pond.
Hey, words can't describe how much we appreciate it. Honestly, we can't thank you enough.
Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. I'm here with two very recognizable faces. We have the pond guy and Stephen Russell, Bama Bass. We are standing on his dock right next to this incredible bass pond, and we are in the middle of construction. And we have a heck of a lot of work happening right now. You know, kind of give us I guess a little bit of your thoughts. I know it's probably a little chaotic and overwhelming at this point.
Yeah, it's coming along great. You know, we basically teamed up with the best in the business. You know, these guys are extremely, great at what they do. Their years of experience really shows on these projects.
And what's fun is that we have 11 states and 2 countries represented.
That's incredible.
So people that were fans of you, fans of us, coming together, and basically it's like an old-fashioned Amish barn raising.
It really is. Everything's looking incredible. With that being said, I got to go talk to 11 different states and 2 different countries because we got to coordinate all these different moving parts, and there are a lot of moving parts right now.
Having a blast at Bama Bass.
We are back in South Alabama and we brought the rain. It started raining last night and it has not stopped, but we have a job to complete. This beautiful recreational pond has a lot of different unique elements: an intake bay, a large wetland filter, sand beach, cascading waterfalls, all these different elements adjacent to his amazing 5-acre bass pond. So what we wanted to do is showcase it, bring in people from around the country so they could learn the actual latest and greatest techniques. Let me show you what we did. So we're taking down the elevations around the perimeter so we don't look like we're down in a pit. So what I want to have is I want to have that water level up nice and high. I want to have as much interaction between the water, the rock, the aquatic plants, and the surrounding landscape as possible. But I don't want that water to be recessed too far down. I don't like that type of a look. I'm going to contradict myself in saying that because I want that low edge all the way on this side from the main viewing area. On the back side, I do want it higher because that's where the waterfalls are going to be. So we have a higher elevation in the back, so we're going to slowly transition our way down from the wetland back down into the water feature. So we're going to have a cascading waterfall over to my right, lowering the elevation, getting everything ready for the beach area. We have some beautiful sand coming in right here from the Gulf Coast, so it's going to be perfect for this application. And with our man Trevor over on the other side on the intake bay to get ready for our pumping system. It has been a crazy flurry of activity out here. Been raining off and on since we literally got here. Massive storm sitting out in the Gulf. Man, it just keeps whirling around on top of us, dumping rain on us. That's what happens when you live in a coastal area. It's also what happens when you're in the middle of a drought. They actually need the rain, and you know me, I'm a hydrological type of a guy. I love talking about the hydrologic cycle and how all that stuff operates. We have that warm, moist air out in the Gulf of Mexico coming in, and it's hitting the cold front that's coming out of the north, and that's going to cause precipitation. That's why this area grows lush. I mean, beautiful, beautiful forest, which is allowing us to capture all these beautiful logs, walking around in the forest, checking out the wildlife, finding those little cool skinks, all that cool wildlife stuff. That's because life happens here because there's water. And now we want to take that to the next level by building this incredible recreational pond. My buddy Steve Stroupe came down special for us out of McCalla, Alabama. If you remember him, he was out at the Shaq build. He brought out some of his prize water lilies for Shaq's pond.
I brought you another beer.
Nice.
I brought him one too.
What?
This is for me, but since I won't drink it, you can drink it for me.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
That is awesome. I love it. And I like turtles as well.
But you didn't just bring the beer. What else did you bring?
I brought in some plants.
Not only did he bring some water lilies, but he also brought out some native vegetation. So we're gonna be able to plant up around the outside perimeters with all that incredible stuff. So check these guys out. We have these beautiful large pots. We tucked them down into the river rock and boulders to make them disappear. This is going to allow us to do a little bit of maintenance. It's also going to give these plants the necessary nutrition that they're gonna need to thrive. So most of the plants that I put in an aquatic ecosystem, I force them to grow hydroponic. In fact, the other plants that he brought are bare root. That means there's no soil. We're gonna force those plants to actually suck up nutrients out of the water column. Water lilies, if we did that, they would starve. We want robust lilies. We want massive lily pads in here. We want the beautiful flowers. We want that paraphyton that's growing on the lily stalks themselves, all bringing that incredible biodiversity. The other nice thing about having these little pockets of soil, this is gonna be a beautiful home for different types of amphibians that are looking for some warmer zones when it does get cold down here. It doesn't get cold that often, but as you can see, it's rainy, it's cold. So it does actually happen, but they bury themselves down into these little mud pockets and they know where to go. So we want to have these strategically located. This whole back cove over here is going to be loaded with stuff. And then right behind that beautiful oak branch that we took down, that's going to be all that native vegetation. While I'm talking about Steve Stroupe, I cannot forget the other team that was out here from day one with me. Chris Sewing from out of Missouri, Nature's Recreations. He's unfortunately stuck in the excavator. I need a guy who has the same vision. He knows what to do. We've done tons of projects together. He's also a past artist of the year, so he's got a good eye. When I talk about excavation, he knows how to dig that area out, make it level, make it solid, make it compact, that we could work off of it. The team from Amen Corner Ponds have been phenomenal, running around, filling up all the little detail type stuff. They brought their construction trailer all the way from South Carolina just so we could have all the necessary tools. They're hopping around in the different pieces of equipment. They're also shadowing Trevor, which is perfect because Trevor is a wealth of knowledge and he could teach them all the ins and outs about doing all the different necessary construction elements, the underwater jet, pumping system, the piping systems, all that crucial infrastructure that makes a pond like this tick. We also have the Fishman himself, Brian Dolly, coming out of northern Alabama. Love working with Brian. He has been involved in many, many projects for decades. He's an incredible detail guy. So he's down there looking at all these little details, making sure the rock and the gravel and all that stuff is being taken care of. And then my buddy Greg Gill out of Iowa, you can't forget Greg. So he is an incredible guy, great with equipment, incredible construction knowledge. So I know wherever I put Greg, I know things are going to be done quickly, efficiently, and properly. So it all takes that incredible team. Then we have the rest of the certified Aquascape contractors that have come in from around the country. Everybody's working shoulder to shoulder, learning, sharing stories, having a good time, enjoying the beautiful Alabama sunshine. We got a truck stuck, which makes like complete sense. I can't believe we haven't lost like multiples coming in because the road is ruts and mud and we're just destroying it all. So we got our load of sand in, had a steep incline coming in from our beach, and then this just slick, mucky stuff on the surface. He's just spinning his tires. It's futile. Thankfully, we have enough equipment here where I think we should be able to pull them out. We're on the back edge of Stephen's property. We're looking for some more logs. You know, I talk about this all the time. I can't stress it enough. I love mixing in, having high biodiversity, adding in these pieces of logs and wood stumps and things like that gives it that naturalistic effect because we're in a forested area. Even though we're in the clearing, we're on the edge of the farmland, but right on the back edge of this has got this beautiful wooded area, and we're looking for some of these downed logs, but we're also looking for some of the wildlife. Right now, because it's rainy, it's kind of a nasty day, they're probably buried deep inside the woods. Probably not gonna find them, but I do know for a fact during the evening time, as soon as the sun drops down, all the animals that live in the woods over here, they actually come out and they utilize the pond because everything needs a fresh source of water. So as soon as Stephen built that large bass pond, the deer, the coyotes, the raccoons, all these little animals come out of the forest and they utilize it. They look for it for not only for drinking water, but also for a food source. So some of those smaller animals are going to search around down inside that shallow water looking for small crustaceans, those prawns that Stephen actually added into the pond. So all those are important food sources for all the different wildlife here. So this is one of the feeding stations that Stephen actually has. So the deer actually have access to this incredible grain. And he also has his camera set up for a perfect location so we can see exactly what's happening. Can't wait to see what happens with the brand new pond and see how they're going to interact. There's nothing I love more better than actually kids enjoying a water feature or animals. It's awesome.
All right, I'm out here with Toby. We're repurposing some of these fallen trees. We've been getting cedars, oaks, and a lot of hardwoods. This one has a nice diameter to it, but what we're looking for is this bend right here. Ed had a nice bend in the beach area, so we found this tree. It's got a nice curve right there. And we got Toby, who is actually a certified arborist, that's gonna do the cutting for us.
Hey guys, yeah, no, it's a big tree. It fell right between these two stems there, so yeah, really pleased.
Awesome, so we're gonna cut it, drag it out of here with a skid steer, and let Ed work his magic with it.
We're at a great point in the project. A lot of different things are happening as usual. We have an incredible team out here. Everybody's broken up into individual teams within the overall group. So Trevor's leading a team right now going around the outside perimeter, finishing up the edging, which is a really critical detail. We have to make sure the rubber membrane's at the appropriate elevation in relationship to the water level. The other thing that's happening simultaneously is we're finishing up grading on the outside edge, as well as bringing in some of the aquatic plants. Jason Duffney just arrived from Jacksonville, Florida. He's going to be taking Stephen out to the local nursery to start getting some of the plant material that's going to go around the outside perimeter. We went over the detail this morning. We did that rough sketch. We laid out the pond. We highlighted specific areas that we're going to focus on from a landscaping perspective, as well as for accessibility around the outside perimeter. We want walkways leading over to the dock area. We want another walkway leading around the back edge. We want to have as much interaction as possible with the water feature, which is the whole purpose of a recreational pond. We want to meld these two different features together. We're tying in the decorative pond with the beautiful bass pond, and we're integrating all of that stuff together. We're also working on the stream. This is that piece that I'm looking forward to, strapping up some of the large rocks. Actually, right behind me right now, got some massive rocks that are actually going to be brought in. Those are going to be framing out everything for that beautiful waterfall to create the cascades that we're looking for. We're trying to increase dissolved oxygen. This is a living, breathing ecosystem. We have nutrients being generated from the fish waste. Those nutrients are being consumed by microorganisms. Those microorganisms have to breathe just like us. The dirtier the water, the more oxygen we have to bring in. So we're trying to bring all this stuff together using biomimicry techniques to pull off this incredible waterfall. And with that being said, I have to get back to work because that rock that they're setting is not in the right place. The lights are out, so that's how the day has gone. How the project starts to rain, sets us back. We came in early, tried to get ahead of everything. Conditions are rough, beats everybody down. You're slopping around in mud. Plus it's dark at like 4:30 in the afternoon. It's not even that late. So we have to get lights out because we got to get this thing done. Our goal, thankfully, look at over there. Unbelievable. Big logs are in there. Landscaping's going in. The dock is complete. Overflow is done. Aquatic plants are in place. Stream is built. but there's still tons of little details around because of the magnitude of the project. Everything is exponential, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So 1 hour is not 1 hour, 1 hour is 10. So we have to keep on top of this stuff, and I'm ready for a beer. We definitely may have to take a break here.
Somebody get this man a beer!
I want a beer! Sierra Nevada. Can't go wrong.
Alright, so we're about to install the smart thermometer. So we got the thermometer probe, and we also have the digital readout there. This guy can hook up to the Wi-Fi as well as be read on screen. So all you gotta do is leave this out of the water, drop this guy in the water, and that's it.
We're getting towards the end. What do you think,
It's
Sierra?
looking incredible. I'm sitting here admiring it right now. There's gonna be a lot of hours spent out here just kick back and enjoying it. It's incredible. I never would have thought it could have turned out quite like this. Pretty amazing.
All right, Stephen, we have an operational water feature.
Absolutely.
What I would like to do is kind of go over just a recap of where everything started.
Yeah, so this actually started out as Clyde's Cove. It was a pocket out of the 5-acre pond. And earlier this spring, we dammed it off right here and turned it into a prawn pond, which was kind of an experimental thing, which turned out successful. But we had visions for something much better. We got these guys to come out, and as you can see, it's much better than what it was.
It was great. When we first started talking, you sent me a picture, showed the dimensions of that cove and everything. And then from there, I started layering in all the pieces. Say, okay, if we're using this footprint, we need to have a recirculating system. We need that pre-filter. We need to have a filtration. You actually marked out the waterfall area on there. So you kind of gave us that footprint. We added in the beach and a lot of these other elements once we started talking a little bit more about how you're going to use it. And I think it's phenomenal. So I think we should do a walk around and kind of look at some of those little key areas. All right, so we're at the opening of the intake bay. So if you remember, this had all those AquaBlox. Remember we were digging all this out? That's acting as that pre-filter. The pumps are sitting inside. As the pumps evacuate water out of the AquaBlox, water from the pond wants to refill it, and as it does that, it draws in debris. Just from us running this for a short amount of time, you could see all the floating stuff on the surface. So that's really important from a functional standpoint, because if we don't take it out of there, it gets saturated, falls to the bottom, and that just adds to detritus and adds nutrients into the water. So again, our goal with this, a little bit different than a natural pond like your big 5-acre bass pond. The other thing that we have here, Trevor installed the dosing system. We have it sitting down here next to the pump vault. So you're gonna add one of these into each one. This is going to give all the necessary microorganisms that are basically populating that filter. Now, getting this operational right in the very beginning is the most critical piece, because it's a whole brand new ecosystem, and if we were just to leave it alone, nature would provide it for us. So it could bring in some stuff that we really don't want, so I want to set it up immediately. So I think this was an incredible kind of improvisation here. You know, we had to retain all of this soil. We looked at some of the logs that you had on site, tried to cut a bench into it. I think you're going to be spending some time here with your family.
Great idea, and we even tied in a slab from the original crimson oak tree, so that's going to be something that helps us tie in that portion of the pond.
I love it. And from here, I mean, just look at that view. We got the water, we got the brand new pond, and then behind that is your massive way. You know, I mean, it's just all these cool little layers and views. Pretty unique out there.
It has that infinity look to it.
It really does. It really does. All right, we are standing at the wetland filtration system. So this was that pit. It's 5 feet deep. AquaBlox on the bottom has that water distribution system. Then we have all that river rock inside. We do have some aquatic plants inside of here, but this really operates more from the beneficial bacteria, which is home to microorganisms. So this is just a massive custom designed filtration system that's going to detoxify the water. Let's go check out the waterfall. So this is the first waterfall that's coming out. We actually discussed this one actually very early on because we wanted to make sure it was visible from the home, from the future home. So as you're coming out here, we want to have that, but you could see the idea what I was talking about from an aeration standpoint. We want all that water to tumble over the waterfalls, as well as flow in between all of the river rock and the creek bed. This is actually what makes it come to life. So utilizing the beautiful aqua blue boulders that you chose, as well as all the logs from the property, really created a pretty unique waterfall here.
It sure did. I love the cedar look. That ties in perfect with the whole theme, as well as the other song, so it's a great addition to that.
This is the spot to kick back and relax, right?
Sure is.
This is going to be an incredible viewing area. What I love about this, obviously you got the view of everything. So you're going to have your back to your big pond, but just looking up over the slope, we flanked it with big beds of water lilies. During the summer months, this is actually going to pop alive. So you're going to have all that vegetation, all the marginal plants, and then you're going to be loading this up with fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are, or is that still a little bit too early at this point?
We want to do a variety. We're thinking about doing some experiments with things like rainbow trout and maybe a striped or spotted bass, something hybrid species, not just our typical largemouth that we have here. Obviously we'll put some bluegills, crappie, things like that, but we want to kind of mix it up a little bit and do some different things that we didn't do with our backyard ponds. This will be a great home for them.
It'll be incredible. I mean, just the overall volume of water, lots of hiding and structure. We have those big giant fish caves down in the bottom. We have the dock overhang, all the water lilies, so they're gonna have a diversity of habitats that they can go to. We have that shallow, fast moving area. I have done a few trout ponds out west and up in the mountains, and I've had very similar setups like that where we have just that shallow, fast moving water, and those trout, they just kind of pack themselves up inside of there. It's actually a really, really unique little location for them. I think this has been a lot of fun working with you and your family. I look forward to coming back, hopefully in the next year or so.
Hey, words can't describe how much we appreciate it. You know, what you and Greg did for us, you know, it's amazing. We're gonna, you know, use this over the next 10 to 20 or 30 years, and our kids maybe even longer than that. So honestly, we can't thank you enough.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I hope you all enjoyed this. It has been a blast working here. I actually can't wait to actually see some of the pictures that you're going to be posting because I know this water is it's going to clear up real fast. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be here to see that. So stay tuned so we could both see how all this actually comes together.